Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. So today, really sorry for the bad throat. So today I just want to speak a bit on how you can overcome your karmic debts. Okay. And, karmic debts, people become aware of karmic debts when they chase failures continuously, or, when their actions do not produce the desired results. Okay. So overcoming karmic debts is all about working out your karma as per your horoscope. Okay. And we know that life is a series of trials and tribulations, and joy and luck are constantly replaced by disappointments and difficult lessons. It's the cycle of the gunas, right? Sattva turns into rajas turns into tamas, and then again tamas turns into sattva. Okay. But despite knowing all these, some events occur that force us to look at things in a very different way. Okay. They force us to look at things in a very, very different way, because those events, those failures can sometimes become cyclical. Okay. And if you get some kind of transcendental knowledge after a certain life event, okay, or a certain incident, then we know that some kind of karmic debt was involved in those incidents. Okay. Now, working of karma can also occur through meetings with difficult people, or getting into relationships with difficult people who force you out of your comfort zone. Okay. And there are certain karmic consequences of actions of past life incarnations that manifest in this life. Okay. And it is very essential that you try to work off your karma in those, that karma that manifests as a result of those actions. Okay. Now, there is a question that I've always pondered upon. What is karma made of? Okay. Can we see karma, or can we feel karma? But as I met my spiritual teachers, or as I met my Guruji, I came to know, or I came to understand, that karma can actually be decomposed into certain blocks. Okay. So this means that working of karma, in relationships or in your career or any other idea, can take place in several stages. Okay. And this is the approach we are going to take. Okay. And this approach is meant to, to remove the halo of the mysticism from the concept of working of karma. Okay. And as we take this approach, we actually undergo a complete change in our perspective. Okay. So to answer this question of what karma is made of, we know that karma is made up of 4 basic elements. Okay. Internal values, affections, fears, and blocks of psychological protection. Okay. And the value system of the individual is the experience of the soul. Okay. And the experience, of course, is positive or negative. It's never always positive and never always negative. So it's a mix of positive and negative, and it needs to be fixed in this incarnation that we are having. Okay. And when we call about fixing the experience of the soul, we are talking about generosity and mercy, compassion and unconditional love. Okay. Self-sacrifice and the pursuit of wisdom. And each of us can supplement this list by analyzing ourselves, right? So attachments can be called the dark side of the soul. Why? Because they pull the person to the bottom, plunging into the abyss of passions and awakening greed, anger, and selfishness. Okay. People say that, love brings attachment. It does. Okay. And once you become attached, you plummet down to the depths of, of despair, of anger, right? And all those, uncontrolled emotional outbursts that you have, right? So similarly, fears are the consequences of suffering experiences, of different experiences in past incarnations. And fears come up after the pain experienced, due to various experiences that you have. and they act like a stopcock, okay, preventing the same mistakes from being repeated. Now, analyzing of fears in a way helps in the more correct processing of karma. But then, if you want to work off your karma, if you're serious about working off your karma, then you have to take a deep dive into your fears. Okay, because fears form the blocks of psychological protection. Okay, and these blocks are a reaction of the soul to pain and suffering. Okay, and if we consider each of them separately, then we can deal with karmic consequences. However, at times these protective blocks of psychological protection, they are not even related to the history of the soul itself, but to to family programmings. Okay, so what this means is that apart from working out our individual karmas, we also have to work out the karma of the family or the tribe that we belong to. Okay, and this can be done only by following certain karmic laws. Okay, so when we speak about karmic laws, there are no fixed set of laws. Okay, but then we have to understand a few pointers before working with our karmas. Okay, because without understanding these pointers at a level of the mind and the heart, it becomes very, very difficult for each one of us to work off our individual karma as well as the collective karma of family. Okay, even our nation that we live in, that we are born into, has a collective karma. Okay, so what we must remember are three things, right? So we must remember that there are no accidents or coincidences. Okay, everything that happens to you is the karmic consequence of certain thoughts, words, or actions in your past incarnations. Okay, and it is very important to recognize the power of thinking. Okay, so there is always, remember this, there is always a flow of energy wherever you hold your attention. Okay, so it's very important that you put your attention to those things which are important to you and not on everything that happens to you. Okay, so don't mistake this as positive thinking. Okay, simply trying to think positive thoughts is a disease in itself. But you have to direct your thoughts to those areas which are useful to you. Okay, and then last but not the least, every action that you commit will will sooner or later return to you. Okay, so this is the concept of what you sow, you will reap. Okay, now this is the psychological understanding of karma. Okay, but how to determine whether your karma is heavy or how to determine whether you don't have much karma to work out. Okay, and there are several clear signs that the universe gives you to tell you that you have a lot of heavy karma to overcome in this life because of some serious mistakes in past lives. Okay, so you have to ask yourself these questions. You have to analyze your environment before you can actually we can actually reveal whether you have heavy karmic debts to resolve. Okay, so you know to achieve something, do you need to put in the extra effort? And do those efforts always bring in positive results? This is something that you have to ask. And if the question is yes, then it means you have a lot of heavy karma to overcome. Okay, and then you also have to see whether you always are in shortage of strength or time or money or energy or enthusiasm. If yes, then of course you have heavy karmic debts to to pay. And then if you find yourself in a in a whirlpool of scandals or conflicts, gossip and intrigues, then also it means you have heavy karmic debt. Okay, and if you find yourself often in a period of losses, or where your plans often lead to frustration, it is about having a huge karmic debt. Okay, but then answering these questions are not meant to make you despair in your situation. Okay, you have to remember that karma is a great teacher, and each of us has the opportunity to learn and practice our lessons to reach our hidden potential to the fullest. Okay, and you know once you understand these questions, when once you answer these questions honestly without lying to yourself, then you are you have taken the first step to overcome your karmic debts, to purify your soul and to overcome all the weaknesses that your soul may have accumulated in the past incarnations. Okay, Now, you know, imagine that you are going to the process of working out karma step by step. Okay, so imagine that you already know what your karmic debt is for this lifetime, and you are getting ready to work. Okay, and you know this method of working of karma in relationships, in career, and so on may resemble some amount of introspection. Okay, but this is a more serious process that will make you dive into the inner secrets of the soul. Okay, so step one, you have to work on your injuries. Okay, that means when working with karma, it is very important to be open-minded about your psychological defenses, and you must realize that you're quite capable of living without those defenses. Okay, the protections come up only to save us from re-experiencing traumas, and that do not allow us to dance on a spade. But then, you know too many protections or psychological blocks can interfere with development and growth. They can prevent from making us leave the comfort zone, and as a result, usually they don't allow us to work out the karma. Okay, the next step, of course, is to become intimately familiar with your fears. That means you have to take a deep dive into your fears. Okay, and when working off karma in a relationship, it is very important to walk through your hidden fears, get to know them closely, and even tame those fears. And once you deal with your fears, you'll understand what exactly your most important spiritual treasure is. Okay, because it is precisely what is truly valuable that awakens deep feelings and phobias. And then in the next step, you have to let go of attachments, because as you work on karma, you will encounter your passions and attachments. Okay, and the law of karma is simply this, right? Whatever is dearest to us, that will enslave the will. And you know wherever you focus your attention, you're destroying that part. Okay, so what it means is, getting rid of attachments is a direct path to spiritual growth and working off the karma. Okay, for example, the Bible often says the love for money is the root of all evils. Okay, here the reference is towards the obsession of hoarding that people have. People like to hoard money. Okay, and if you have this obsession with hoarding money, then the universe will hit the stick. You'll be, your money will be taken away. Okay, so you have to work through this moment, start donating, sharing, and doing charity work. And because by doing good deeds, you burn out those negative samskaras. Okay, you must have heard about this word samskara. It's a Sanskrit word. It's a Sanskrit word that implies imprints of karma. And once you burn out those samskaras, you will feel how much free and easy your financial growth becomes. Okay, and then the last step is getting to know your true self, which is free from fears, false attitudes, and selfishness. Okay, but then you can come to know about your true identity only after you have passed the previous 3 steps, as I've mentioned. Okay, and once you pass through those 3 steps, you'll be able to realize your self-sufficiency and value, and reach a new level which will allow you to see the world around you more clearly and move forward towards virtuous goals. Okay, now how do you know that the result of working off your karma are manifesting? Okay, the answer is the quality of your life will undergo a change. Okay, and in this Kali Yuga, most of the karmic lessons come through relationships. Okay, and once you start working off your karmic debts, you'll most likely feel that it has become easier for you to communicate with people. Okay, your relationships will become more productive, either at work. You'll start getting more respect from your children or spouse. You'll start getting more support from your parents, as well as attention and tenderness from a partner. Okay, and if you've been dreaming of starting a relationship with a worthy partner for a long time, then working off the karmic debts in relationships will give you a chance of meeting that other half, that perfect one for you. Okay, if you have a lot of misunderstandings in your own family, once you work out your karmas, those misunderstandings will be replaced by love and respect. and you will make peace with people with whom you have you have a long-standing desire of finding a common goal, a common language. Okay. Now, what is important to remember is, once you start complying with the laws of karma, it will certainly give you a positive result, but don't count on it as an instant boomerang effect. Okay. Because, a karmic debts a karmic debt gets accumulated over a certain period of time, maybe over several lifetimes. So don't think that, you can reset the karma or you can work away the karma just in a few days. It'll not happen that way. Okay. For example, say someone has been, violating the laws of the universe for years by cheating on his wife. Okay. Now, maybe you have repented. Maybe that person has repented to his wife, and promised to be loyal to his wife, right? So immediately after making the promise, do not count on the fact that you have resolved your karmic debts. Okay. That person will have to go a rather long way to be cleansed of the consequences of those actions. All right. And you know as a matter of fact, such a person might not cope up with the samskara of cheating on his wife in one lifetime. Okay. So this is the usual way of working with your karmic debts. That there is a way where you can, fast forward working with your karmic debts, and that is the way of Tantra. Okay. So not everyone, is given access to these methods. But if you feel you have a lot of karmic debts and you're serious about resolving them, then kindly reach out to me via a personal message on call or on WhatsApp. I'll reach out to you and I'll help you out to the best of my abilities. Okay. So that's it from me in these videos. Try to, watch this video once or twice before you actually get the concepts correct. And should you have any doubts regarding your chart, or should you want a consultation regarding your unresolved karmic debts, kindly reach out to me at the number provided in the description box. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.